talk about evaluating the literature. So evaluating the literature means that I should be eclectic. This doesn't only relate to the literature that I should be included, but that I should include, but according to some parameters such as you can see, accuracy, objectivity, accuracy in terms that I should check the reliability of the information provided by the sources, by the authors. It should also check, I should also check whether these references are error-free or not, checking whether the information is based on a practical side and proven facts or not. I should also check out the nature of the information provided. That is to say, is the information fact or opinion, and what is the purpose behind here conducting such research works. When it comes to currency, I should check the date of publication of the work. Is it new or old dated? Does the information meet the scope of my research or not? So I should take into account all these important points in evaluating the literature. It means that accuracy, objectivity, currency, and coverage. Now we move on to talk about searching techniques. In searching techniques, as you can see here, we've got scan and skim. So what is meant by scan and what is meant by skim? So to scan the literature for various types of content, for example, including theoretical foundations and definitions. So scanning, it means that I'm going to scan the literature to search for what? To search for theoretical background, some definitions of key concepts that have a relation with my topic, discussions and debates, current issues in the field. What is meant by skim? Skim potential works to select materials for inclusion and deciding whether to include or to exclude a given work from my literature review. So in here I'm going to skim which I should include and which I should exclude from my literature review. To do so, we need to develop what? To develop a research strategy through defining my research question. I should also here identify the keywords of my study, and as a master student, here I should what? My research will be conducted within a short period of time, of course, less than 1 year in this case. What you need to develop what is called a time frame from or for your research, from and of course consider what type of material you need to include and why. In this case here, that is to say, justifying your choice in case, for example, the field of didactics and literature, and identifying where you can get the information. Now we return to how to take notes, talking about this issue because it is the most important here in writing the literature review. So through taking notes, you can check sources, checking arguments and disagreements among scholars. You can also detect the research gap. Research, of course, you are going when you are here searching, you are going to search for mainly for secondary sources to read about the topic. Here, for example, if here I find some articles here in the subject, I'm not going to read all the article. I'm going to read just the abstract and the introduction and the conclusion of the article to check here whether this article meets the standards and whether it suits my field of research or not. If it fits my field of research, I should, when I'm reading, I should think critically through my readings. So as I read, I should ask myself, what is the scope of this research in this article? What evidence does the article use? And I should here try to write down some ideas about these points. So in this way, here you are taking notes. So this is concerning the process of note taking. How can I take notes? And here there are techniques to take notes. The first technique is called mind mapping. So this technique is a well-known technique in brainstorming, and we have seen different types of techniques used in the process of writing, mainly in brainstorming. How can I use mind mapping technique? I have to write my topic, for example, at the center of the page. I'm taking a page. At the center of the page, I'm going to write my topic. Then I'm going to write some subtopics which are related to my topic. Of course, these subtopics are what? I'm going to take them as headings to my chapter. From these headings or from these subtopics, I'm going to include what? Sub-themes for these subtopics. It means that the central topic has subtopics, and these has subtopics what have sub-themes. For example, if we take the topic that we have talked about, women's place in Henry Fielding's Tom Jones. So my central topic is women's place in Henry Fielding's Tom Jones. This is the central topic. From it, I can get what, for example, women's place in the 18th century English literature. So this is the subtopic. I will take England in the 18th century as a theme, and the changes, for example, economic, political, religious, and social changes, as what? As sub-themes. So then, for example, women in the 18th century as a theme, women and society, women and education, women and social life as sub-themes. So the themes are what? Are taken as titles in my chapter or in my literature review. And what I included as sub-themes will be taken as subtitles or subheadings in my literature review. There is even a software called mind mapping software. This software helps you to use this technique, and of course mapping your theme, your topics, your themes, and your sub-themes. And of course, for the next session, we are going to see how to work with this software, or what is called the mind mapping software. There is also a citation manager to add notes. So in terms of note-taking, I can use mind mapping, I can use note-taking table. Note-taking table, here there is a table, I found it in a website, and I found it useful to use the table. I took it from this website. So this website, Oregon University State. I took it from here. As you can see here. So you can draw table, whether in your notebook or in your here document folder, taken into account. For example, I'm going to include citation information about the author, the year of publication, summary of the key points included, for example, quotes, direct quoting, page numbers, the relation of these points to my research work, the significance of to my field of research, important figures, authors, and here theories in the field taken from, for example, the source that I'm using, references to follow up on, and other notes. You can find it here. I'm going to send you this document to work with it, and I really find it workable, so that you are not going to miss a reference when you are citing, as you can see here. So this is the document. I'm going to include all the authors with their books or articles, summary, and context or relations, significance to your field of research, and other remarks, as you can see here. We return to, so this is concerning note-taking table. You can use the table in your notebook or in your document folder. Of course, notebook here taken, and this is with the method, and it is useful. To this day, it is useful. You can use it, and of course here there is a study which has been recently conducted concerning note taking. It is proved that taking notes or hand note taking is useful rather than taking notes in your computer. Using a citation manager, for example, Zotero documentation, it is useful to take notes here, to take notes at the same time here identifying the citations, different citations, and even here listing references. We are going to have here a session about that, about to use this this manager or this software, and it is for free. Now we move on to how can I write the literature review in a critical way, and how to avoid description in writing your literature review. So the question that imposes itself is how to benefit from the literature review that you have collected and convert it into what? A critical review of existing theory that leads you to build what? That leads you to build and design here literature review, a good literature review. So let us talk about why we need critical skills in writing the literature review. So through your readings, you become familiar with the field of research. You are not going to write all what you have read, of course. You are going to select what, or you are going to select according to the aim and the scope of your research, of course. For this reason, you have to ask yourself, how can I be eclectic? And how can I write using critical evaluation? And what I have, so how does what I have read relate to achieving the aim and the scope of my study? And as you come across conflicting ideas that can help in selecting the appropriate arguments. As such, you will gain what? A sense of which parts of the previous research can be included and which can be excluded. So at this point, you will decide which arguments are important for the research problem that you have designed and the scope of your research through the process of reading and note-taking. We return to note-taking. You read, take notes at the same time. You are improving your skills. So through readings, you are improving your skills, mainly critical thinking skills. We talk about note taking. So through note taking, we will include small reviews, of course, as we have seen in previous sessions, that will develop to the first draft of your critical review of existing literature. After you finish the first draft, stop dealing with it for 1 week. After writing my first draft, I'm going to stop for 1 week or less than 1 week. Then I'm going to come back with the idea that I'm not the writer. I'm the examiner of what I have written. Hence, through reading your draft for the second time, you can decide what is missing. That is to say, through reading and critically analyzing the works of other writers, you will develop your critical reading skills and your skills of critical reviewing, or what we call toolbox of critical skills. So, how to avoid description in writing your literature? Of course, the student should master techniques of academic writing. For example, if you are quoting, you are summarizing, or you are paraphrasing. If your literature is full of other people's words, in this case, you are leaving no place for your voice as a writer in case you are quoting. In case you are quoting and your quoting exceeds 30% from your whole work. In this case, you are leaving no place for your voice as a writer. This means that you shouldn't depend on quotes, but rather using them as what? As a support to your discussion. Talking about the main difference between describing and critical evaluation. So if we check this sample, as you can see here, it is a little bit not apparent. I'm going to trying to here. So if we check this sample, and this sample is about use of grammar, or the use of competency-based approach in teaching grammar for middle school pupils. So if we check this sample, we can find that it is acceptable. Why? There is no mistakes, or there are no mistakes in referencing, as you can see here, including page numbers for quotes, the author's names with year of publication are found, respecting the formatting issues of block quotes, including the author's names, date of publication, and page number. So there is here no problem with referencing. If we check, for example, here, if the student used critical evaluation. So the student starts with what? The student starts with definition of what is meant by grammar. Grammar might be seen as the vehicle by which language learners arrive to express their thoughts appropriately, since the target of English grammar teaching is to enable learners to express their thoughts correctly. So here, she or he provided the definition, then supporting the first three. The critical evaluation, or what Highwood and Ragg 1982 call insight of other people's view, is also available. Of course, here the student provided what his or her argument, then supported his argument with a quote. So this is a good way to insert short quote in your passage. Then she or he provided support for the previous scholarship, Thornberry, 1999. Then what she or he explained the previous arguments. A very good way to use these techniques to create what? To create a critical evaluation. And of course, she or he came with the conclusion by the end of what? By the end of the sentence. Then, moving to definition, providing definition by a scholar, then explaining, it means that starting with the scholarship, then providing your explanation, then supporting with another scholar, a very good way, and explaining what previous scholarship or scholars have provided. And this is a very good way in, of course, writing or using sources, or what Highwood and Wright call insight of other people's view. It means that you are writing critically, not just describing what previous scholars have given to the field. So how can I develop my critical evaluation? First of all, I should describe what I'm reading. For what reason? To show that you can interpret what others write. Offer your views on what you have read, as you have seen in this sample. Support your views. Illustrate, it means that critical evaluation. And let us check here this sample. So I think that cooperative learning is a variety of teaching methods in which students work in groups to help each other in learning academic content. As well as Johnson and Johnson 2005 argued that cooperative learning is the educational use of small groups, so that students work together to maximize their own learning, that of everyone. So as you can see here, the student provided scholarship, but here there is no critical evaluation. If we check even the second passage, she or he just describing what she just described previous scholarship without any sign of her or his view. So these are some reporting verbs that you can use to include quotes in your paragraphs. Let us now move on to the literature review structure. It means the literature review should have what? An introduction, a body, and a conclusion. So in the introduction, as we have seen in previous sessions, you should restate here your research problem, include the scope, include the aim behind writing the literature review, and include an outline of your literature review. Concerning the background, so this is called the background. Now we move on to talk about the body. So in the body, you should provide a summative, comparative, and evaluative discussion of the literature reviewed. Show the importance of the field of research. You should also show the importance of the field of research. So this is in the body, of course. Show the reader that the literature conducted in the field is not enough. There is a scholarly gap. In this sense, you have to provide what? A critic on existing literature. In this regard, you should show the question: is there any need to do more research? Convince the reader about the choice of the methods. At the same time, show the limitations of previous scholarship. In your conclusion, what I should include in my conclusion: restating the research problem in different words, summarizing the agreements and disagreements of previous scholarship, establish where your own research fits into the context of the existing, whether your own research fits into the context of the existing literature or not. Now we move on to how to map your arguments. So, mapping your arguments, how to make or map your arguments, how to work with mind mapping software, how to use Zotero documentation. All these will be included for a session for next week, inshallah. We will have 2 samples of literature reviews to check, both in the fields of didactics and literature. So we stop here looking for your questions and inquiries concerning this session. So these are the references that I worked with for my session. See you next week, inshallah. Bye-bye.